Well, I've done it again. This is going to be one of those days that I look back on at the end of the year and I'm just like, what happened? I'm up $13,000. Third big green day in a row, $37,000 in 3 days. Wow, this is crazy. The winners, they are always clustered together, just like the losers are clustered together. End of last week, Thursday, Friday, I lost 11 grand. And Monday morning, I started with a $700 loser. And you guys know how I felt about that. It was not pretty, but I bounced back. Well, today, I started the day with a $57 winner. $57. Not very exciting, nothing to write home about. And then my second trade, I lost 2,000 bucks. So now I'm down almost, $1,950, almost $2,000 between the two trades. And I was thinking, this is so typical. I have a couple of great days and then, I start to be a little too aggressive and I drop myself right into the red. My daily max loss is 5 grand and, to get, almost halfway there in the first 5 minutes of trading is not a good start. But I dug myself out of that hole and it was trading good quality setups. Next thing I knew, I was up 3 grand, 4 grand, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I hit a high of just under $15,000. $14,800 was my high today, and I've pulled back to being up $13,300, which, all things considered, is pretty darn good. So we'll break down the trades today. I want to do kind of a brief overview of the trades here, and then we'll get into the technicals. So I traded today a total of 6 stocks, and I'm green on 5 out of the 6. The biggest winner was on VIVE, which was gapping up 100% pre-market and gave us a little bit of continuation out of the gates, but the trade that I took was actually a bounce off the lows, buying the break through VWAP on a retest of high a day. That for me was a really great trade. It's the same one that I nailed on SES. It's the same one that I lost on BIMI, but it worked today on VIVE. The second one was DTSS. DTSS was really strong yesterday. Really strong is an understatement. It was up 700% at its high. Now it sold off a lot, but today bounced off those lows and popped up about 100% off the lows. And that gave a great opportunity for about $6,600 in profit. VIVE was $7,000. And then I had BNGO, $1,300 of profit. That was a little tricky. It was a lower price stock. Pre-market, it actually had a high of $3. Came back down to about $1.50 and then squeezed up off that level to about $2.70. And I thought it was gonna retest that $3 high. And I was up about $3,000 on it, and then my last trade was a $1,300 loss, an 11-cent loss with 12,000 shares. Lower price stock, felt comfortable taking bigger share size. And then the last 3 names, JMIA, only made $109 on that. IPWR, only $57 on that, and then PSV, that was the one that I lost 2,000 bucks on. I got in at about $1.50 and it dropped it back down to about $1.25. So that was disappointing, and it's a reminder that I usually don't do as well on stocks under $2. My real wheelhouse is between like $2.50 and $8 or $9. When we start to get above 10, that starts to get tricky for me as well. Now, during the recap, as we go into the technical stuff, I'm going to show you an example on VIVE where I was watching the stock consolidate near the highs, and I told everyone that there was something about it that I didn't quite like. It wasn't lined up just right, and typically that would be a setup that you would look at just on the basic level of the chart, and you would probably be a buyer on it right around, I think it was 9:30. It ended up popping up just a little bit and then doing a big false breakout and dropping all the way to 8:30 and getting halted going down. That could have been a really big loss, but of course for traders in the room, because of me being able to say, hey, there's something not quite right about it, they were able to be a little more cautious on that trade if they took it and manage their risk better, or maybe avoid the trade completely. And that's called educated intuition. It's intuition through years of experience. And it's something that, as a beginner trader, you can learn all the technicals. You can learn how to use a trading platform, but the intuition, that comes with time. And so the benefit of being in the community is that you're able to sort of you're able to get the benefit of my intuition and allow it to help you understand what a seasoned trader looks at in terms of something being high risk, low risk, great potential, poor potential, etc. All right, so we'll get into the detailed stuff. And as always, guys, if you have questions, you have comments, leave them below. I personally respond to every comment posted. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, you better hit that subscribe button. All right, I'll see you guys down in the comments, and I'll see you in the chat room tomorrow. All right, everyone. So we're going to do our recap here for today. This is we're going to get into some of the technical stuff here. This was another pretty impressive day. I'm going to finish the morning up $13,328.10. Wow. I mean, this has been a pretty wild day in terms of momentum. It's been a wild 3 days. I'm up $37,000 on the week right now. Yesterday I made $10,000. Monday I made 14 grand. So just like that, $37,000. That's 90% of my monthly goal of 40 grand. The market is heating up. We are seeing some great opportunities right now. So this is definitely a time for me to put the pedal to the metal, to bring out bigger share size. And I've definitely been doing that. So we'll break down these stocks. Let's start by looking at the watch list from this morning. Every day starts the same way, going over the pre-market watch list. And this morning, our leading gapper was VIVE. Now, VIVE is kind of interesting because it was gapping up 164% with no news. There was no news to account for this move. So naturally, I was a little skeptical. But of course, I was seeing a stock that was up quite a bit, and so I was willing to take a trade on it. The bell rang, and it just sold off right away. It sold off, it dipped down, it just didn't end up really holding up super well. So nothing to look at there. It comes up right here and taps the VWAP of 809, and I almost bought it right there. I almost bought it because I looked at that and I thought, if this thing hits the VWAP and breaks through it, it might give a move like SCS on Monday where it rips right back to $10. But I said to myself, you know what? It's actually dropped quite a bit. This could bounce off the VWAP and be a short. So let me just sit tight on this for a second and let's see whether or not it's actually able to hold this level. It doesn't. It comes back down. All right. But then right here as it curls back up, it curls back up and gets halted. And I jumped in going into the halt right there. It resumes and squeezes up to 950. All right, so on this trade right here, on the break of 8, this is where I started to get aggressive, and I did really well in that breakout, $7,104 of total profit. Obviously, can't complain about that at all. That was a solid trade. So let me see if I can pull up. I'm going to go over a couple of the trades here this morning. One of the ones I really want to show you guys was on, let's see. Yeah, so I've got a couple here that I'm going to show you. But one of the ones that was really pretty awesome was on, of course, VIVE. And there were two good examples of it. So I'm just going to drag this up here for the live recording. So this is VIVE here. I'm in the trade. It's just broken through the VWAP, and I took some profit on that break. So I've gotten myself down to 636 shares, and now the next halt level is at 903. So I'm watching this for a possible halt, but then it pulls back here for a little bit, as you can see on this 1 minute chart. So it pulls back, and then this is where I stepped up to the plate. All right, so right here during this pullback, I'm watching it, and now I'm thinking if it breaks over 9, that this thing has a really good shot at going up to 950 and then going up to 10. So I'm watching it. I've got my hand on the buy button right here. I want to buy a dip, so boom, I jump in right there. I buy on this little dip. I'm trying to anticipate a 1 minute micro pullback. There we go, there's 9. I added 9. I have now 12,000 shares of an $8 stock. I'm not going to say that that's not a big position. It is, but this is the market that I'm training myself to be aggressive in. This is the market that I've been waiting for all year. October, November, December. So I stepped up to the plate with a big position. Now we've got the halt level at 903. All right, so we have a little bit of pullback here for a second. I'm kind of like, oh, let's see what happens. Halt level's now moved up to 928. This, at this very moment, is not, in hindsight looking at it, that's kind of moment of truth, because I got in on a 1 minute setup. I'm in with a pretty big position, but I have a good amount of conviction that if this thing breaks over 9, originally I thought it was going to get halted at 903 and then resume probably higher and squeeze right to 990. So there's the break, and now through that break, I'm taking some profit, which is the smart thing to do because the halt level's moved up quite a bit. So I take a little profit on that break, the break of the whole dollar, and now I'm holding 3,500 shares, and I'm going to see, what's it going to do? And just like that, it flashes back down. So good thing I took a little profit through that $9 spot. Now I'm on 3,500 shares, and I'm in the red. It's back up to 9, so I'm going to kind of unwind the position here. Now I will end up taking another trade on this, but what I want to do is I want to fast forward here to right around 1108. All right, so on this one here at 1108, I was watching VIVE right down here, and as you can see on the 5-minute chart, it had been consolidating here, consolidating right under this level, but there was something about it that I didn't feel comfortable with. I just didn't feel like this was set up quite right. And so it had the high of 950, and I watched here, and I could tell there was a hidden seller. I could see that there were buying orders going through, but it wasn't breaking that level. And even though originally I had thought I would get in at 950, and that would probably give us a break and then a move up to 990, at this moment, the stock's got 10 million shares of volume. It's a little extended off the 9 moving average. The pullback entry down here of 20 would have been okay, but I didn't take it because I hesitated because at that time, the spreads were a little bit bigger. So now it breaks, but does a false breakout. Now what happens when a stock does a false breakout is a lot of people buy it who are watching it because they're thinking, oh, it's going to break 950 and then it's going to surge up to 975, 990 or whatever the case is. The second it doesn't, now this person who just bought at 950 is down 30 cents. So they hit the bid, they bail out, and then short sellers see that weakness, they go short and they set their stop at the high of the false breakout. So watch what's going to happen here. Whoa. That's a drop down to 830. And that's where the educated intuition really comes into play. So I was very clear. I said, you know what? I don't trust this false breakout. There's something about it that I'm just not feeling. It feels a little too extended. The volume on these candles is really light when it should be higher as we're coming into this breakout. It already did this big whip right on this candle here. That's this one right here where it made a high and then dropped down. And so I said, I don't think I can trust it. If I had taken this trade, I probably would have bought 6,000 to 9,000 shares around, 930 to 940. I'd be down over 10 grand if I held through this drop. So that educated intuition saved my day. Now, that's not to say I didn't have some losses today, because I did. And that's bound to happen, and that's okay. But being able to avoid the losses that can be crushing is really important. All right, so anyway, so that was VIVE. That one is now coming back down. It was not able to break the highs. In fact, it's coming back down towards the lows. I mean, this is a huge range, but this is the type of stuff that we're seeing right now. So VIVE I did the best on. DTSS was not on my watch list pre-market, but of course I traded it yesterday, and as it broke 4 right here, I jumped in for the break of $4, and we had a nice move here up to 550. It then comes back down. It drops down here. It halts once going down, a second time going down. It resumes. It hits a low of 385, and I bought 310 shares at 386 1 cent off the low of the pullback. I added another 3,000 shares at I think it was 418. Squeezed up to a circuit breaker halt at 445. Now I'm up 25, 30 cents. It resumes and squeezes a little higher to 72, and that gave me a really nice win. So I had 2 winners on this. The first one was the breakthrough 4, holding into a halt at 420. Second halt at 445. Third halt at 568. Third halt up here at 506. Fourth one up here at 560. Then halt going down, bounce off the lows. I was watching this to see if it would curl back up, but right now it's below the VWAP and it's not doing that just yet. So, this has been a pretty awesome day. VIVE and DTSS, BNGO being a little lower priced. It's been halted. I can't even count how many times it's been halted. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times. 13 times. My goodness. All right, so that was pretty crazy. Now, the high a day on it is 74. It's actually holding up relatively well. The problem is it's getting halted like every 20 cents. This is a low price stock that's halting very quickly. So the average price, the bands right now are a halt going down at 330 and a halt going up at 230 and 260. I mean, I'm certainly interested in it above 274, but it's going to get halted at 260. And then the question is, does it resume higher? And on this one, some of the halts have resumed and then dropped and resulted in halts going down. So it's been kind of tricky, but it is holding up relatively well. So let's put this candle here at the high. We can draw this line, maybe kind of like this. It's just not gonna make a clean break of 3 because it'll halt several times before it breaks 3. So anyways, this overall has been really a impressive day. I mean, there's no question about it. These last 3 days the market has been on fire. $37,000 in 3 days. I mean, you guys have seen it right here. Those of you who are Warrior Pro students, you'll see the live trading archives. It can be done. A $583 account can be turned into $100,000, especially when we've got this type of market, and that $100,000 can be turned into $1 million during these types of markets. I know because I did it. So, it's pretty exciting. This is some impressive stuff. Those of you guys watching on YouTube, I again always encourage you to leave questions and comments down below and check out some of the links in the description if you're trying to think about and figure out how to get started as a trader. And Darren, absolutely. At the end of last week, I was feeling pretty bummed out because at the end of last week, I had 2 red days. I was down $11,000, and I had given back, all of the profit of the entire month. I was actually red on the month. And I was not expecting this type of action these 3 days. There's no way to anticipate it or predict it. But for the most part, I'm trading the market that's right in front of me. I am being more aggressive, and I'm trying to capitalize on this window of opportunity. This window will at some point close, and the market will slow back down. But the good news is through October, November, December, and January, I statistically make the most money. And it's thanks to little clusters of days like these where I make, 37,000, 40,000, 50,000. My best 2-day hot streak was $70,000, $72,000 in 2 days. Which is pretty crazy, right? So my second best one was 56,000. And, this is maybe my third best hot streak here with 37,000 in 3 days. And let's see what we can do tomorrow. Momentum is hot. The market is on fire. Today was just about my best day of the week until that last trade on BNGO. And if I do take a couple trades this afternoon, I'll see if I can get myself over 15,000. But I'm not sure if I will. VIVE has come back down quite a bit. DTSS isn't doing much. And BNGO, being a little cheaper, is a little harder for me to get a really good kind of entry point on. But We'll see. I'll be keeping an eye on the markets because this is a time where I do have to dig deep. I have to spend a little more time in the chair, try to be a little bit more disciplined, and just keep myself focused. All right, so that's it for me. I will see you guys first thing tomorrow morning, and hopefully we will have another day of awesome momentum. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.